My family, I greet you. Welcome to another one here on Truth and Love the Church with your brother Joseph. I've been receiving some of your messages and I said, let me get my facts right. Because why? We actually have a problem.
You are calling him small boy. So what will you be calling us? Call him small. What will you be calling us? Most of the big men of God you see today came through him. Let's say what before people gather and drown his voice.
Again, like you said, I don't need anything from Dr. Paul. God has already blessed me. But it's for the records. People are asking questions and I have to answer those questions.
So this is an issue that has been making trends, in the body of Christ. And it's actually sad for me to say that it's actually among two of the well-respected fathers in the person of Dr. Damina and Dr. Paul Enenche, where Dr. Damina is claiming to have fathered Dr. Paul. But we all know that the father to Dr. Paul is Bishop David Oyetebo. All right, so here we're just trying to clarify because of some of the things that we've been hearing recently. So I'll just start by showing you this little snippet from what Dr. Damina said, where he actually mentioned one Paul Odola, and that one minister that he actually mentioned will then come back to tell us whether it is true or not that Dr. Damina ordained Dr. Paul Enenche.
That's the way it works.
Okay, so he told me some very interesting stories. For instance, that he was ordained on the same day, 1996, 97, 98.
1996 February.
Yes, he was ordained on the same day with somebody Odola.
Paul Odola.
And then Enenche.
Yes, him, Paul Odola, and Paul Enenche were ordained the same day right there.
The same Enenche.
Same service.
So why will he now say he doesn't know you?
Well, time will tell.
You heard that, all right. So you mentioned one Dr. Paul Odola or Apostle Paul Odola, that is a great minister of God in Nigeria over there. So we're just going to be hearing Dr. Paul Odola's testimony concerning this thing, because Dr. Damina is actually saying that Dr. Paul Odola and Dr. Paul Enenche were ordained on the same day. So let's actually hear from Dr. Paul Odola.
Oh, thank you very much. I think I've been privileged to know Dr. Abel Damina and Dr. Paul Enenche way back. As far back as 1994 was the first time I think Dr. Paul Enenche came into the picture of Dr. Abel Damina. And as at the time Dr. Paul came into the picture, he was already a man of God in his own right. I have a particular handbill where Dr. Paul featured as a guest speaker. Yes, he was already a guest speaker. That was in 1995. It was in that handbill, there's one pastor called Dr. Friday Yanga. In 1995, so Dr. Paul came into the picture as already a minister of the gospel, fireful and vibrant, that often attends the conferences that Dr. Abel organizes. There was this just prayer conference that was going on then, that Dr. Paul comes around. So when the movement ICMA became a church, Dr. Paul came in as an associate minister. Sometimes he goes around preaching, you don't get to see him on the Sunday. If he's around at just, he comes into the service. And I had the opportunity to invite Dr. Paul to come minister for us in 1995 in Bauchi State. He was then a man of God in his own right. He came to that meeting with Dr. Becky, his wife, and with Deborah, his daughter, with his mother-in-law. That was 1995. As you see then that the man was anointed, was fireful, was a man of God in his own right by all standard. So we had the opportunity of coming around Dr. Joshua Telina and Reverend Dr. Abel Damina, and obviously, I must say this, obviously, it was very clear, very apparent that it was different. It was different from us in so many ways than I can mention here. It was different in his lifestyle. It was different in his approach to ministry. It was different in his morality. And so basically, it was obvious that Dr. Paul as a person had his own approach, had his own lifestyle, had his own more or less like ministry, came around as an associate. So basically, what he is doing today, we have always known that he had a ministry that definitely was going to be global because of his approach to ministry that was quite different from ours. His very strict and very high standard of living that to a very large extent was different from us because we were quite young men then, and that was quite different. So what he's doing today, I'm not surprised.
So you actually heard in my family. So the way I see it, I actually see it in a different light. Actually, I think I will just tell you after you listen to this small snippet.
My story. Close to 30 years ago, I came into contact with God's servant through messages, through tapes, and what I heard stirred my spirit. The first message I think I heard was unveiling the realities of the supernatural realms. And my heart was stirred. Is there such a man? Where is he? And I continued listening to the message until one day I saw in the dream of the night, he poured oil on my head. I had never met him. We had never seen. I didn't even know how he looked like, but he anointed me in the dream. And then after getting newly married over 27 years ago.
So my family, if you actually carefully listen to what Dr. Paul Enenche is talking about, that service in which he was narrating his story was in 2021, and he's saying close to 30 years ago. And that is somewhat close to 1991. You can say it's 1992, 93, 94. That's when he got a hold of Dr. Bishop David Oyedepo's messages. So this actually, means that he knew him maybe before he knew Dr. Damina. And as for his association with Dr. Damina, because it's something that we can't deny, we know for a fact that one time or the other he actually was in good relationships with Dr. Damina. It's something that we can't deny. But I actually think that he related with Dr. Damina mainly because Dr. Damina at that time was associated to Bishop David Oyedepo. You find it actually happening right now in the body of Christ, where you have someone who follows, let's say, Bishop David Ibiyomi, can actually associate with maybe Apostle Korede Komaya, can associate with Pastor Biodun Fatoyinbo, can associate with Bishop Oyedepo. Why? Because it's sort of like a family. So I actually believe that's why he associated with with Dr. Damina at that time. Forgive me. All right. So for him to detach himself from the person of Dr. Damina, I actually feel he actually let us know of his reasons.
Don't follow anybody carrying the Bible and preaching against the same Bible. Paul is saying, I am sure of where I'm going. Follow me, you won't miss road. But any day you see me, stop following Christ. Stop following me. I am not saying just follow me. Follow me as I follow Christ. For as long as you see me follow Christ, follow me. Any day you see me deviate from Christ, you also deviate from me. Follow people in motion. Follow people at work. Follow people on duty. Don't follow people who have settled. My father in the Lord, Bishop David Oyedepo, till today, is out on the street on evangelism. He has an evangelism team. Days of fasting. Bible study daily. 1 year, 10,000 churches planted. Somebody who hasn't started anything. It's relaxing, crossing lane, using toothpick. In those days when we used to see the power of God. Listen to this. The temperature of the people is determined by the temperature of the priest.
So you heard in my family, he couldn't be more clearer. And as for Dr. Damina, he continues to say this.
Like you said, I don't need anything from Dr. Paul. God has already blessed me. But it's for the records. People are asking questions and I have to answer those questions. There are even people in church that were there when he was ordained. There are many people. You can't lie when there are many witnesses. Pastor Ada was there, Dr. Okonkwo was there, and a number of them. They were physically, and they're in the building right now. They were there when the ordination. There are even members of his church in Uyo here who were members of this church, who were there when he was ordained. I mean, the records are all over the place. I can go on and on. I have a lot of evidence, so I don't want to bring out pictures. I don't want to bring out stuff because I don't want to embarrass him. I just want to keep, things within where we can all be happy, okay?
So what else can we say, my family? The drama continues. So we just wait for Dr. Damina to share with us the evidence. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Meet you in the next one as always. God bless you.